Major General Mohommed Ali Shah is joining me on the broadcast for this story. A very good morning, sir. Now, Taliban has finally announced the government after weeks of wait, and what a cabinet has it been. One of the ministers who has been announced as the interior minister has been recognized as a terrorist by the US. What are your thoughts on this cabinet?
Has caused maximum damage to Indians in Afghanistan. For example, the Haqqani network only had launched the attacks on the Indian embassy a couple of years back. If you remember, it was very big sensational news. And a senior of mine from the army, my immediate senior, Colonel Seema Mishra, her husband was martyred in that particular embassy blast which the Haqqani network had done. Now, Haqqani network, when they came, they got seized only because General Faiz Hamid, the ISI's chief, had come there to negotiate. When one of brother Umar was wounded, there was a clash over there in Afghanistan between the Haqqani network and the Taliban. So they were greedy for power, for seat hungry. It's like having a cake, and a greedy person would want to have the cake as well. Now what I can talk is just today. The former Prime Minister, the President of Afghanistan, he gave out a statement saying calling out that the NRF should be supported, and the current government is basically a terrorist regime. It is like thieves having a government of their own, and police would be considered as the thief. It is ulta chor kotwal pe pura hai. So when they have this government coming up, it is certainly like, for example, Sheru, who was trained at the Indian Military Academy. He got the Deputy Minister of External Affairs, not the minister. So they all are going to be fighting for power. Maulana Muhammad Yaqub, who is the son of the founder of Taliban, Maulana Muhammad Umar, the one-eyed cleric, as you rightly said, the radical, he's a radical actually. So he also has been given a ministry over there. So when you see Maulana Abdul Ghani, brother, co-founder of the Taliban, who has previously served as one of the Akhundzade's 3 deputies, he will be Akhundzade's first deputy. Maulvi Hanafi, a senior Taliban figure who has served in the negotiation team at the peace talks in Qatar, especially when on 29th February 2020, when the Doha Pact was signed, that time he was also present there. He has been named as Akhundzade's second deputy. The other key positions are filled in by two other deputies like Maulana Muhammad Yaqub, I just mentioned about him, and the late Taliban, he was son of the late Taliban spiritual leader, of course. And so Sirajuddin Haqqani, that is something to worry about, because Haqqani network certainly, it's proved time and over again that they are against India, and they have worked several times against India. Now when Suhail Shaheen, the spokesperson, gave out a message a few days back that they have every right to speak on behalf of the Muslims of Kashmir, uninvited. No one asked them, but uninvited. So it is actually not a very good sign. But yet, I'm telling you, it is like, Abdullah Saleh has rightly said that this is an illegal government. This government should not be, he has written out to international organizations like the UN, the Red Cross Society, and all the international organizations. And he said, please back us up. And we will continue our resistance unless and until they back down from the illegal activities. You know what's going to happen? The rightful people of Afghanistan, like Abdullah Saleh, Ahmed Masood, they would be branded within Afghanistan as separatists, as extremists, as terrorists.
Right.
If there was any Afghan army in play, it would have been a terrorist army. Now they will become freedom fighters on their hand. Now there is a difference between a freedom fighter and these kind of Talibani militant groups. A freedom fighter is one who actually fights for their people, on behalf of the people, on their behest, is willing to get sacrificed on the behest of his own people, right? But a militant group like Taliban is not fighting for the people, it's fighting against the people. The people in Afghanistan never wanted Taliban. They are fighting for themselves. How are they freedom fighters? Some people who are thinking that, they're free. For example, Pakistan, I wish Pakistan has enough brains to understand. Just yesterday, I was on a television channel, I was with the Pakistani journalists who were saying that they are freedom fighters. How on earth are they freedom fighters? I was ridiculed. I was like, what is he talking about? And we have seen in Afghanistan women protesting. They are actually calling out the shots against Pakistan. and support of Afghanistan, of course. That Pakistan's not interference in their own internal government matters is not acceptable.
Right.
Pakistan also interfered with their air support on Panjshir. That is how our resistance force suffered some casualty in Panjshir. They did a propaganda by putting a flag over there. But now I would like to ask Talibani people if they are listening. You guys kept changing your government, kept changing your stand on your formation of your government. You kept delaying it. Obviously, there are reasons obvious to the world why they did that. And when Haqqani network comes into play, it's not a good sign at all. I can say that.
Now, Mohammed Ali Shah, Shashi Asthana mentioned that by announcing such kind of government, Taliban has mocked the international community. In the statement that Habibullah Akhundzada has also released, he has said that we will work towards protecting human and minority rights within the framework of Islam. What is your take on it?
See, the people in Afghanistan, the thing is, they have a very tribal culture. It's not about Islam. They do not understand, or I hope they do, that they are actually fighting against Islam only. The people who they have invoked casualty on, physically or emotionally or peripherally, are all from their own religion. They're all following Islam. Amrullah Saleh followed Islam. Ashraf Ghani followed Islam. Abdullah. Hamid Karzai. You have to understand, even they are part of Islam, right? But now they want to impose Sharia law. I'll give you two very good examples over here. Saudi Arabia and Iran. They also follow Sharia law for that matter. Very stringent, very strict laws, yes. But Afghanistan, that is in, I will say Afghanistan now, I mean Taliban actually, not Afghan government of course. So Taliban actually for them, the Sharia law right now is very, very different. Very different. It's their own interpretation of Sharia law. Which nobody wants that. Nobody wants to live with so many restrictions on. And where they're bravely, and they have mocked the international community, of course. And Shashi Asthana is absolutely right. He's bang on there. They have mocked the international community. It's like telling them, okay, we have done this. What can you do? You cannot do anything to us. Come on, let's shake hands. When you hear, they are saying we'll send out a signal that we are on for diplomatic talks. But if you think of it broadly, Priyanka, have you ever worn a shirt which says made in Afghanistan, or shoes which says made in Afghanistan, or if you have any products which you use in your day-to-day life which says made in Afghanistan? Yes, India has a lot of investments there, yes, but those are all on the broader side, so we will have a lot to lose, yes, but let's wait and see. Now we are waiting to see when the Afghan government gets formed, what actually happens. The Taliban government is so shameless, they had actually offered an invitation to the president who resigned, Ashraf Ghani. They sent an invitation who was in UAE that you be a part of our government. And Ashraf Ghani was in negotiation with them. He was in talks with them. He shouldn't have encouraged them any further. So yes, they have mocked the international community, and now it's about time that the international community also gives them a reply by totally boycotting them.
Right. Major Mohammed Ali Shah, speaking about the government that's going to form now, what is going to be its international repercussions? Because now we see that China has been, of course, supporting Taliban. They have been supported by Pakistan. How should now India and the world at large tackle this challenge? What happens to the global war against terrorism now? Should the international community be recognizing such a government?
No, certainly not. Certainly not. And in fact, Amrullah Saleh, rightly so in his letter, he brought out very correctly and in a very precise form that the world should actually boycott the Talibani government, and it is not the way to go ahead. He's written to big organizations internationally all over he's written to the European Union, to the Shanghai Regional Cooperation Organization, the South Indian Association for Regional Cooperation, the Organization for Economic Cooperation, the Heart of Asia Process, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, and other countries in the region. And he's written to the whole lot of the international community. Amrullah Saleh has rightly, in fact, it was yesterday evening, I would say, that today is 8th, so it's 7th, yes. So this is definitely, it's a letter on the letterhead of the National Resistance Force of Afghanistan, which has also gone viral on social media for that matter. So most certainly one should always just boycott Taliban and the government. In fact, they have high hopes. Let's see how for example, they took over the Kabul airport, all right, but do they know how to run an airport? They took over the country, all right. Do they know how to run a country? They have no experience, Priyanka. They will not be able to manage, and especially without getting any international support. The way they tried choking Panchi, because Panchi has got a very narrow approach and only one way. So they tried choking it. Similarly, Afghanistan would be choked ultimately. They cannot survive without international support. They must understand that. I don't know what they're thinking. Which fool's paradise they're living in.
Right. Now, this also brings us to the question that what happens to the people of Afghanistan now? Because if the rulers of a country, if the governance is being, if a country is being governed by a terrorist, what happens to the human rights of women? What happens to the human rights of the people there who genuinely want to live an honest life, have the right to work, have the right to education? What happens to the people? Because now US is out of the picture. We have Taliban leaders who are recognized as terrorists coming on post, assuming post of the governance. Now, what happens to them now?
You know, on 29 February last year, 2020, when the Doha Pact was signed between Salim Saad and Maulana Abdul Ghani brother, that time Abdul Ghani brother on behalf of Taliban had agreed that they will try to practice an environment of democracy. Women will be given equal rights. They're dealing from Al-Qaeda. A lot of fake promises were made over there. But Taliban few days back also had declared that they will not have any women minister, which is so unfair. And now it's proved when they actually declare their ministry, they're not a single. We are all waiting to see. Okay, let's see what is the government going to be like. How many Tajiks will be there? How many Uzbeks? How many Hazaras? How many Pashtuns? Yes, we will be, but they have formed a government of their own people. So a current network comes into play with the interference of Pakistan. General Saif Hamid had actually had to come and physically to Kabul at a time when he should not have been made his appearance in Kabul at all. He should have refrained from it. But he said it's worth the risk. Let's go. When the whole world was running away from Kabul, whole world. At that time, it was only Pakistan which was actually sticking around, and they were rather sending envoys after envoys into Kabul. So what? It's going to be a Choron ka Raj. Earlier it was Jungle Raj, now it's going to be Choron ka Raj. These guys only loot people. I'll tell you how brave they are. They can only put koras on women, kill a child, harm an unarmed person, hang him on the... On 27 September 1997, they hung their president, Dr. Mohammed Najibullah, who was only 49 years old, who was taking refuge in a UN office. So they proved it to the entire world, and now they say they have changed Taliban. In what way? In what way? Yeah, they have a better PR machinery, all right. They become softened as warriors, we must understand that. And if they think they can get away from it, they cannot. Because it was proved by US on 3rd January last year, 2020. US actually did a drone strike in Baghdad, in the capital of Iraq, where they assassinated the Iranian chief of army staff, General Soleimani, who was on his way to meet the Iraqi prime minister. So US can do anything, in fact. In fact, US, if they want, if they wish, they can even bomb the bases where they stored their ammunition through drones. They can inflict heavy casualty on Afghanistan right now. So Afghanistan must realize that. When I say Afghanistan right now, I don't mean the Afghan government, which my sympathies are with them. I mean the Taliban, which has come into play. So it's like, I'll give you a simple logic. It is like, in a class, in a school, we have a few bullies and we have some good people, the class monitor who is interested in studying, the studious guys. But here the bullies will take over. So the bullies become the right people and these guys become the bad people. That's exactly what's going to happen in Afghanistan.
Right.
The militants become the government and the good people become the bad people.
Right. Stay with us as we talk about the anti-Pak protests that are undergoing now. Hundreds of Kabul residents came out on the streets today in protest against what they said was meddling by Pakistan in Afghan affairs. 3 weeks after the Taliban's takeover, the crowds were heard shouting slogans like "Death to Pakistan," "We don't want a Pakistani puppet government," and "Pakistan, leave Afghanistan," among others. The Taliban fired shots into the air to disperse crowds at the protest. Now, Major Mohommed Ali Shah, we are seeing anti-Pakistan sentiment brewing in Afghanistan. The people of Afghanistan are only coming out and saying that, this government is a puppet government and we don't need this. What are your thoughts on this?
Absolutely. It is a puppet government, which is, the big brother is who? Pakistan. So why should Pakistan interfere in their affairs? So people in Afghanistan are generally very upset. The women have come, women and children, in fact, they are protesting. Women had earlier taken up arms against Afghanistan, against Taliban. And now, of course, it's going to be a puppet government, so nobody would want to be controlled by an external force. So if Taliban had a problem, and it's very big hypocrisy. Taliban had a problem with US interference. For example, their constitution, which they formed in 1964 and in 2004, with the help of the American intervention, a new constitution was formed. In that article 25, 26, 27 and 30 Bravo. So they had a problem with these specific articles. Okay, now the Taliban says they'll revert back to the 1964 constitution, which was made not with America's intervention right from Afghanistan gained its independence on August 1990. So now, isn't this hypocrisy? Pakistan also is a foreign country for them. They never acknowledged the Durand line, which was actually drawn on 8th August 1990, even before the partition, almost 10-11 days before the partition. So now when Pakistan interferes in their affairs, they will certainly have a problem. The common Afghan citizens will have a problem, and that they had foreseen it coming. They knew Pakistan supports and favors Taliban. And let me tell you, even again, as I told you, in Panjshir, it was only because of Pakistan intervention, because a place which USSR, with Russia, they could not attack Panjshir, they could not even come close to it, which is named after the 5 lions. Pandavas, when they went for their moksha, they came to Panjshir, which is named, Kandhari was from Kandhar. So now, people who could not create the best of warriors, in 1980, they made a false claim to the USSR that they have captured the entire Afghan-Russian war was on at that time. But it was a false claim. Similarly, we said, our General Sehgal 2 days back on the panel, and he said so, that it's only a propaganda, it's only a psychological warfare by Taliban by putting a flag at Panjshir. So how can a place which is so difficult to fight on be taken over by a bunch of cowards? That's Taliban. So obviously, it had Pakistani intervention. Pakistani Air Force supported them, they gave airstrikes, they bombarded Abdullah Saleh's house, who was forced to go to a different location. Unconfirmed reports said that he's going to Tajikistan, fine. But you know, the thing is, it is certainly totally Pakistan is going to be controlling Taliban. In other words, Pakistan is going to be controlling Afghan government, which is again very, very dangerous. China has investments in Pakistan, in Afghanistan, and they have been eyeing Afghanistan because they want to set up that colony inside. It's like you having a big house, and I taking one small room inside your house and saying, "This is my house." That room. Nobody is allowed to come here. And I am trying to force my right into your house. How would anyone feel for that matter? So I'm giving the simple language because so that everybody understands who is not following Afghanistan or Taliban will also be able to understand that if I enter someone's house and say, one segment of that is my place. So it is certainly a puppet government which Pakistan is going to be controlling and not good for us, and it should be stopped by the international community. By all means, one should leave no stone unturned in preventing it.
There have been demands to sanction Pakistan. If we remember clearly, there was a hashtag called Sanction Pakistan which was trending on Twitter. So do you think that this is high time that some action is taken against Pakistan? Because as we can see that people are not happy with this because of what is happening in Afghanistan. What we are also witnessing is an unfolding of humanitarian crisis where Afghanis are leaving their country and moving to other countries. So what's your take on it?
Pakistan is actually incorrigible. Action should be taken against them, yes, but I don't think that will deter them. That will not stop them from breeding terrorists. That will not stop them from promoting suicide bombing. That will not stop them by training suicide terrorists. So, but yes, a pressure should be maintained upon them. They have proved it time and over again. I mean, no matter, it doesn't affect them. And I am aghast by the way Pakistanis react. Just yesterday, when I was on a channel where again, Pakistani journalist, I can quote him, Mr. Haider, a senior Pakistani journalist in fact, he said that when the videos of the women protesting in Afghanistan came, he said, oh, these are all fake videos. This was propaganda by paid Indian agents. How funny was that? I was split. I could not control my laughter. I was like, what? Either no IQ or totally ignorant. And they choose to be ignorant, like ostriches putting in their hand into the sand. So yes, Pakistan, there should be a solid action taken against Pakistan. But they're incorrigible. I wrote an open letter to Jaish-e-Mohammed, you can Google it, it's there. In the year 2019, it was covered widely by every single national and international channel. And the reason over there I explained that it was an open letter to Jaish-e-Mohammed's terror outfit. There I explained about Pakistan's involvement in promoting suicide bombing, suicide attackers, which should be stopped and what actions we can take to actually prevent them. And you know, when they brainwash our young children from Kashmir, I'll say our because they Kashmiris are our own people, the Indians. So when they brainwash them coming this side and take them across, we should ensure that instead of the youth carrying an AK-47, they should be holding a laptop, a pen,
right,
a book in the hand.
We also have former diplomat Suresh Kumar Goyal joining us on the broadcast. A very good morning to you, sir. Anti-Pakistan protest in Afghanistan now. Your take on it?